Hey, everybody, welcome to another edition of Inside Lion Athletics. I'm Charlie Chitwood. We've got all kinds of action going on and off campus, but it's all big Lions. We're going to start out with Brittany Miller, head coach of the Lions softball team. Y'all have been busy the last 2 weekends entertaining folks with parkas in their travel bags.
Yes, we have. It's been a chilly 2 weeks, but it's been good.
Did they bring it with them, or was that all ours?
I think it was all ours. They didn't even bring their parkas, some of those teams. And they came from the north.
Their mistake. Tell us a little bit how the two different. I mean, they're very different in the way they ended up, but some of the same teams. You got to see North Dakota and South Dakota aplenty.
Yes, North Dakota State's game, that was exciting. Come behind win. That was good to see. Good composure with our student athletes, so that was good. Some growing pains in the middle there a little bit, but things are coming together. Things are going in the right direction. Clean our defense up a little bit this week, and our offense coming around. So excited about what this weekend has to hold.
So it just seems like a day ago, but how do you start the start of this season compared to the start last year? Just, where they are as a team, and then some of the individuals, how high is the water lifted?
It's good. I think mentally we're in a really good spot. I think we're excited to get out there. I think it'll be good to be on the road this weekend, have some team bonding together, and be able to kind of see each other in a different light a little bit. Going over to Arlington and then up to Oklahoma this week. Our outfield's doing awesome. They've been making some awesome plays out there, so that's been good to see.
Yeah, I saw a little Sports Center catch on
yes.
one of them.
Emma Rodriguez is playing really well. And our infield's coming around. Like, our bats are coming around. I'm excited about where we're going to be this weekend.
All right, very good. So it's going to be Arlington first, and it's Prairie View A&M and
Arlington.
Or UTA.
Yep.
And then from there, are you going to come home, or are y'all going to go straight on?
No, we're going to go straight to Norman, and then we're going to play early, 10 o'clock up there against UMKC, and then we're going to play Kansas, and then Sunday turn around and play UMKC again before we head back.
So that's a big tournament up there. But is it how's it organized? It sounds like there's got kind of little pods of teams that'll play.
Yeah, they're just doing a round robin, so there's Oklahoma's going to be up there playing. Some teams, Marshall's going to be up there. So we'll see.
All right. And then you get to go back to Norman and play Oklahoma as well. That'll be coming up.
In a couple weeks. Mm-hmm.
That'll count. That'll be different than the one in the fall.
Yeah.
I mean, that counted in the fall, but springtime's when they really count.
It'll be good. It'll be good to be up there, and it'll be good to be playing on that field again this year and this weekend, and then it'll be good to go back and, it's kind of home away from home now that we've played there a couple times.
Coach, all the weather notwithstanding, you have good crowds, folks showing up for that and making a little bit of noise for the Lions?
Yeah, we've had good crowds. We've been fortunate enough to have people come out and weather the weather, so it's been good.
And a couple of Lions going over the fence.
Yes.
Guys dig the long ball.
Oh, yeah. Stephanie Tapia has been doing a really good job. She made a couple adjustments, and I think they're still trying to find that ball that left the park.
Still going.
Still going.
I like that. Hey, what about conference opponents? Have you kind of looked up from what your team's doing just to see the lay of the land so far in the Southland?
Yeah, the Southland's conference is going to always be competitive. I think everybody's been leveling up, and it's to be expected, and it looks like we're going to be competitive throughout. Every game that we play is going to be a competitive one, and it's going to be, who's going to show up, who's going to come out and play, and if we stick to our guns and we stick to our process, we'll be all right.
So the games this weekend, or this week and weekend, they're really the precursor to Southland play, because it's the end of next week. We're down in Hammond taking on the other Lions.
Yes, we'll start conference. We'll play Sam Houston State, a doubleheader at home on Tuesday, and then we'll head down there on Thursday.
All right, good deal. Coach, anything else about the squad? Any updates? Anything new?
No, they're figuring it out. We're doing good.
Okay. Hey, one last question, because it's going to come up with everybody today. Transfer portal.
Oh, yeah.
Do you have a window of the portal opening up amidst your season?
No, ours is at the end of the season.
Okay.
So it'll come up in May.
All right, very good. All right,
yes.
So there's one down. We know the answer to that. Are you going to go to the portal? Is that a place that you're going to go looking for at the end of this season, or do you wait and find out?
Ooh, wait and find out.
Okay.
See what we got coming out.
All right. Listen to the wise coach. That's what I do, too. Let's just wait. All right, folks, don't wait long. We'll be back with more Inside Lion Athletics right here on the Lion Sports Network. Hey, everybody, welcome back to more Inside Lion Athletics. I got Valerie King with me now to talk women's basketball. Coach, 3 games to go on the season, and hope has not run off and left us yet.
Yeah, we still have a chance, which is great. I mean, that's what you always want. You always want to still be in the hunt, still have a chance. So
you only have to win all 3, and another team only has to lose all 3, and that's the Islanders. How is it if that happens, and we somehow end up with the same record, or would that put us a game up? It would be head-to-head. So that goes head-to-head, and they beat us, and we would come out with tiebreakers because that Nichols sweep.
That's right.
Picked the right team to do that, too. Good job. All right, so first up, it's Houston Christian, and that'll be tonight on the floor here at the Fieldhouse. Talk about the Huskies.
Yeah, they play a really good brand of basketball. They're playing really well right now, and they've got some really, really good players on their team. They've got a really good point guard in McGuire. She hurt us quite a bit when we played them down there in early December. And they've got a more of a face-up 5 player compared to probably what we've seen, since December. That'll be a little change to defensive game planning as well.
Is that good rebounding skinny post that we saw down there? Just stood there and grabbed the ball? Or am I thinking of a wrong team? It could be that.
Yeah.
So your team, when they played the first time out, and those 2 especially might have kind of caught people off guard, how's preparation different for round 2 against HCU?
Obviously we haven't played them in quite a while, but, we've all watched a ton of film and, have been able to keep, tabs on them and everything. But, I think us being better on the offensive end, taking some better shots. I think we were early, when you go back that far in the season, you're still trying to find shot selection, good, bad, who you really want shooting the ball at all the times, and still working through lineups. So I think we're in a much better place now with all of that. Game planning wise, I think, we've got a good game plan with, some stuff we want to do post defensively, and being able to guard their perimeter players better than what we did down there the first time.
Okay, and then as soon as you do all of that, claim a dub tonight. Then on Saturday, you got to turn around and do it again against UIW. Cardinal women, they're a little bit of a different team, home versus on the road.
Yeah, and they're a really good team. Coach Dow does a great job with them. And they're very they're very settled in what they do. Their offense, their defense. So, we'll be prepared for that. They run a lot of Princeton high post action. So, which kind of helps us in seeing kind of the same thing in both teams this week, being able to prepare for both teams, mixing that up a little bit. So, but they'll show us a lot of different stuff on the defensive end, whether it's a press, whether it's a half court zone, trap, stuff like that. So we'll really have to be ready for that. Okay, then you get a dub Saturday, and then you need one more, and you get that opportunity. Most people are done on Saturday, but y'all made that switch, scheduling switch with Northwestern State, because we were right in the middle of that bounce from Rio Grande Valley back to Natchitoches, and if y'all hadn't rescheduled that. That's correct. And, going down to Northwestern State to finish the year, I thought we played 3 really good quarters against them here. I think we know what we have to do to fix some stuff on the defensive end, and I think we offensively, I think we'll be okay at that point with what our reads and stuff that we need to make. So. All right, and then you just hope and keep an eye on the scoreboard, because the Islanders down at A&M Corpus are the ones you need to really struggle. They've got New Orleans, but are they playing them on the road? No, they're at home.
Oh, they're at home. Ooh, that might be tough for. Well,
Yeah.
who knows? Nora Francois could go off on them like she did to us. And then, if you get to the tournament, you have that, and that's a whole different animal. If you don't, or even if you do after the tournament, then it's onto the recruiting trails.
That's right. Regardless of what happens, conference tournament, we go or not go. I mean, our schedules, probably won't change much with recruiting. We'll hit the road as soon as we're finished. District championships here around us, which is great. We can hit two regions here, Oklahoma and Kansas, and then probably California as well. So, and still being able to get to some of the high school stuff, which is great.
Coach, we're kind of in a gray zone with the reclassification, and we could be done in 3 years instead of having one more year to go. Is that impacting the way you approach recruiting this year?
Yeah, I mean, I think it could really impact, recruiting right now for, the spring, who we sign now, and then obviously our 26 class. It changes a lot of stuff. Being able to talk openly about it, and making sure everybody knows that, we're ready to go now, and it's not something that people can hold over our heads anymore.
Limbo is a good place to be out of, and it feels like the reclassification process, 3 years, 4 years, whatever, is that much time of limbo. Mm-hmm. You're ready to get out of it too, huh?
Yeah, I mean, obviously we have to pay our dues and, follow NCAA guidelines. But, I think when anybody's in this position, I think anybody's ready to get out of it and ready to roll. So. Okay.
Well, Coach, I know you're eager to get on the floor with them today. Good luck. We'll see you for some pregame and then postgame, too.
All right. Thanks,
anyway,
Charlie.
Valerie King, head coach of Lion Women. We'll be back with more Inside Lion Athletics after this. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Inside Lion Athletics. I'm Charlie Chitwood. I have Jaret von Rosenberg with us now. Coach, New Orleans was an entertaining get on Monday night, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Congratulations on that one.
Two teams that have had really tough seasons, and they played really well. They played good enough to win that game for sure, even with having guys out and everything. And we played a really special 3 minutes, to be honest with you, to go on a 12-0 run to end the game. Give our guys credit for doing it, but I give New Orleans a lot of credit for having us down like that for the majority of the game.
Yeah, you were a little bit thin up front. Casey Ugwakazi found an extra source of energy defending that inbound play with 23 seconds left. He poked it away, chased it down, and that tomahawk dunk was fun for the 20 or so Lion faithful.
We made a lot of plays in our last 3 minutes. We gave up one offensive rebounds, but got consecutive stops, and that was a huge play because it totally flips how you have to approach the last minute when you're up one versus down one. Mm-hmm. So it allowed us to defend without fouling and putting them on the foul line, and that ended up being the difference.
So when he hits the bucket to put the Lions up by one, there's 22 seconds left. That's a lot of basketball.
Yeah, but you're able to guard it. We ended up having, obviously, 2 more possessions. We got to stop.
Right.
We shot free throws, and they got one more look at it. But if we're down in that situation, we have to foul them, or we have to trap, and which usually leads to an easier shot, possibly, or a foul, and then forces you to come down and score. So it really it was a big play. Just flipped the whole complexity of that last little bit of the game, and we were able to come out on top.
They had 3 seconds at the end. Their New Orleans final possession. They had to go the length of the court, and it was kind of a wild shot. They had to execute perfectly, and they didn't.
Yeah, it's a tough scenario. In that situation, you want to get a shot up on the rim, even if it's from half court. Just give yourself a chance. And TJ happened to have on the switch. TJ had the ball in front of him, and all you really got to do defensively is make him turn twice, and TJ did exactly that. So it made him change directions 2 different times, and with 3.5 seconds, you don't have a lot of room for error.
You go into the locker room after that game, Coach, and it's so different if things hadn't quite gone that way in the last 30 seconds of the game.
Yeah, and we've been in a lot of close games. It's kind of amazing how many games have come down to the last minute, and we haven't come out on top very often, obviously. So good to see that happen. Good for our guys. We got a road win finally. And I think we've actually played some of our better basketball on the road in the last couple months. Just haven't been able to get over the hump.
All right, so the last bit of the hump is at home this weekend on Saturday. It's going to be UIW, and then on Monday night you close out against Houston Christian.
Yeah, two teams really battling for seeding in the conference tournament. I think both of them have made it for sure, but they want to get out of that 8. No one wants to be in the 8 and have to play McNeese at home in the if they can win a game to start. So I think the double byes are all situated, but kind of this last little weekend to wrap up some seeding stuff. So they'll have something to play for sure. And then we'll have something to play for with our guys. Obviously getting a win, but wanting to end the year on the right note and kind of upset somebody's weekend, if you will.
You have a very special senior amongst your seniors that will be going out Monday night in the game, and Khalik Abdul-Mateen. 5 years, Coach, he's been here as a D2 guy. That's how you recruited him. He was here through COVID. He was here through, we're leaving the Lone Star, now we're in the Southland, and here he is, his final game of eligibility as the record holder for most played in the history of this school.
Yeah, it's really cool. It's really neat for him. I know more than anything he wants to win 2 games this weekend and play well. But I'm sure there's going to be some emotions. I'm sure he goes back and remembers 5 years ago when he put on the uniform for the first time. He played in his first game as a true freshman. So he's been through a lot of ups and downs, NCAA tournaments, and obviously the other end of it this year with our record. But what he's meant to our program just from a durability standpoint and how he represents our university. He's such an ambassador to what we're doing. So he'll carry that well beyond this weekend.
Did he ever miss? I mean, was he ever unavailable for a game? I can't think of a time that he was out for any reason.
I don't think he's been out for a game. He's missed, I want to say, less than 5 or 6 practices his entire career, much less games. So
there's a lesson. There's a lesson in that.
You get some guys. Some guys are just durable. I don't use the word luck, but circumstance is a part of that. But he's just been available. Another guy will roll an ankle and miss 3 weeks, and Khalik has missed 5 days total.
So that's amazing stuff.
Yeah.
All right, Coach. I know that a trip down to Lake Charles would be far more to everybody's liking, but that's not going to happen this year. But the flip side of that is you get a little bit earlier start recruiting, and you guys are already starting to probably put some pins in some maps already.
Yeah, our timetable's changed a little bit. I'm already started our postseason wrap up to try to get ahead of just going into meetings and understanding the areas that we really, really struggled. I think we all kind of know the areas, but we need to fine tune really where all together we can get better. And it's a good opportunity for me to reevaluate and relook at everything we did and how I approached everything and try to get better. Because it's not just it's from the top down. We've got to do a better job, and there's no question about that. So we sped up our timetable with some of that stuff, which hopefully helps us come June 4th, 5th. We've got a roster that we like. We've got an approach that we want to go with and make sure this never happens again.
Coach, talk a little bit about the portal, if you would, because it's coming up too, and that's an animal that changes its look almost every year. But
on its face, it's very simple. I mean, a kid's name goes into a database online. That means that they have intentions of looking at other schools. Where it gets tricky and sped up and what you have to navigate is there's no time to visit places. There's just not a lot of time because of the way this schedule is, where there's dead periods and there might be, I don't know exactly what it is, but there's less than 30 days to visit people. Forget you have a little more time to sign them, but most people want to go see the campus and go spend time with the coaches and their future teammates, and it's just not possible in this scenario.
Not that and go to class wherever they are.
But go to class, but then if somebody's going to go visit 3 other places, like you don't know if you're going to get them. So like there's only so many days, literally days to visit people. So, it's just being ready, navigating that, understanding what you want to go after from a skill or an ability or a position, I think is important. And we finally, this is exciting right now. Our season that's happened, but I'm looking at the horizon. We're going to become a Nike organization. We're going to break ground on a new arena at the end of March. The schedule for going Division I has just been adjusted from 4 to 3 years. That puts us in position to do that. Everything that we could possibly want to take another step forward in this transition is all happening at the same time, which is really exciting.
Very cool. How much do you think that some of those new things that are a year off, because I have a short attention span now, much less when I was a teenager, would somebody hold on another year if the reclass were to possibly go over, not be done in 3?
It would crush you, because a lot of the guys that are going to make decisions are based on, and that's what's hard about it, is like we're moving forward with the assumption we're going to go.
Yeah.
We've hit some of the key metrics and stuff. I know it's not that simple, but our team, I plan on our whole team being here June 4th. That process doesn't even start till the end of June. July 1 is when they come back with, and Jim can talk a lot better about that, but my understanding is kind of like us going. We're not going Nike till July 1. Just how the contract works, the year works, and getting all that stuff in. So we've got to go into the assumption that we're ready right now, because very informed decision, and that's how we're going to approach it.
You've been here through all of this, and it's got to feel a little bit like when they finally say you are totally D1, it's like shackles coming off.
Yeah, we've had opportunities. We've had good players. It just eliminates a barrier. Not an unsurmountable barrier. At the end of the day, we didn't do a good enough job this year. I think just having different financial resources this coming year that we have never had. Going back to all the same things, it just gives us a lot of different things to be excited about, for our players to be excited about, and to build some momentum. And that's how we want to approach it. We're just trying to build a lot of momentum, bring in a class that, bring in hopefully the best class that's ever been here before, and kind of, just build this thing the right way. And, 365 days from today, hopefully we're, talking about getting a double bye as a 1 or 2 seed.
How you like that? Basketball, it's a wonderful sport. It's hard to come to the end. Sam Walker probably put it best one year. He says, and it was a year that the Lions thought they were going to go to the NCAAs and didn't.
I was in there when that happened.
And it was all about, he says, man, this is not how a season's supposed to end. It's supposed to end after a tough loss in the playoffs, everybody crying in the locker room, and not just kind of dissipating.
Luigi's.
Yeah. It just kind of
watch shows,
faded away.
You see all the excited people and watch shows, and they show videos of all those people, but there's the other 6-8 schools that are hoping to sneak in an at-large bid that are on the other side of that.
Yep, and it's tough. It's a tough way to go out. All right, Coach. Well, I know we got 2 more to go, and I can't wait to see them Saturday afternoon. You shouldn't either. They'll be on the court 2:15, plus or minus, depending on how the women's games go before. They start at noon. But come on out and see the Lions. They'll be on the court. The only game in town Monday night, and that game against Houston Christian will tip off at 6:30, right?
Correct.
Okay. Lions up, everybody.
Go Lions.
Hey, we'll be back with more after this. Welcome back, everybody, to Inside Lion Athletics. We got the big cat himself, Jim Curry, athletic director. He has been busy. I can't believe we got him out of his office because when they decided to reclass, you basically lock the door and it's just DoorDash there. Do your kids send pictures? And I mean, you guys got a lot of work to do.
There's a lot going on. And you know, again, important to recognize the efforts that are going across the entire university right now. So it's not just athletics. It's many people across campus, across multiple divisions. But, you know, as I explained, I was meeting with Student Government Association last night. As you know, as part of this process, you know, it takes a full team effort, and Division I athletics is a team sport in all ways possible. Not just athletes and coaches and athletic staff, but faculty, staff, campus, donors, alums, local community. It doesn't matter. It takes everybody to do it. And I think as we go through this process, particularly this self-study process right now, it's really reaffirming that mindset.
It was kind of a sudden opportunity, was it not? And then it was either go for it or not. And the part that got us beefed up for, let's go for it, was really from the academic side, was it not?
It was, yeah. And I know I wasn't on last week. I had some other obligations on Wednesday last week, so I couldn't make it. But a lot's happened in 2 weeks. A lot happened 2 weeks before that. So I've been able, and now I'm kind of on a little bit of a road show, and we're deep into this self-study. I've been able to kind of share a little bit more insights in terms of what that process looked like. But, you know, for sake of the folks that are listening at home, we got notice in late November that they were going to review this concept at the January convention, and that here's a little bit of a framework of what it could look like. We don't know if it's going to get passed. We don't know if it's going to change. So it was kind of hard to do anything with, right? Other than just like think about what could be. So we get to convention that was in the middle of January, and which seems like years ago, but it is just a month ago now. And so middle of January, and sure enough, what they said was they changed a lot. Well, they didn't change a lot, but they changed things in the room. But they were significant things in terms of adding additional exit benchmarks and things like that. Mm-hmm. So really, not just us on campus, but even folks at the NCAA needed some time to kind of digest it and understand the application of that for schools that were in the current process. So
and try and figure out what the impact might be.
100%. Yeah, on timelines and everything. So, you know, they needed to consult with conferences to understand, hey, how much lead time do you need in order to be able to set the table for August, and then kind of work backwards from that. Mm-hmm. So really it took a couple weeks after convention to even get to a point where they understood all the details. And so we ended up having a call first week in February. I think that's kind of where we left off in our conversation here, maybe. But we had a meeting with the NCAA that first week in February to kind of lay out what this new timeline would look like. And mind you, that was 2.5 weeks after they took the vote. It took them that much time to kind of sort through the details. And from that call, probably not surprisingly, there were still more questions than answers in some respects. So we had to go a whole other week to be able to work through some of those finer points. You know, which metrics, how would we evaluate those, nuances that are in the detail of all this stuff, of course. And when they pass the legislation, understandably, that's not part of the thought process when they're putting the reclass framework together. They then hand that to the folks on the ground and they sort through it. So, but because of the timeline, it got into a little bit more of a crunch. So had that call in the first week of February. Second week of February, we had a deadline from the NCAA to communicate, okay, are you in or are you out? And I can tell you that, I mean, right up to the day before, I mean, multiple schools were still trying to figure out some of these questions and get answers to them.
Right.
We got the question we needed an answer to. We got the answer to the question we needed. So we were in, and even that night I talked to some folks, and they were still on the fence.
Wow.
At other schools. We were in, though.
Clock was ticking.
Clock was ticking. So, but we got it in, and then it all kind of started from there. We needed to go to the folks at the committee that oversees these, the reclass process. We get the go there, and then it all kind of started even hot and heavier from there in terms of starting to schedule site visits, additional meetings that we had planned out for later in the spring that we're now pushing up earlier into the spring. So even this week alone, I've been to SGA. I went to our SAC. Next week, I've got Dean's Council, department heads, a student affairs exec team, leadership team meeting, and then in April we'll do faculty senate. So there's a lot of different, groups that we're continuing to meet with as well as part of this that was already planned, but we thought we'd have the rest of the spring to get that done
right
on the books as opposed to 6 weeks. And then now we know that our peer review team visit is going to be so the report is due March 15 when it was previously due May 15. The peer review team visit was supposed to be in the fall. That's now the week after we submit the report. So that'll be that third week in March, right after we get back from spring break. And then we've still got to respond to that, whatever they come back with for us. And at the same time, too, we've already started this new academic data review process, but basically just auditing our academic stuff. And, we feel good about that. So it's when you talk about taking a year and a half's worth of work and smashing it into 4 months, that's right. And for us, given the timeline that we're on, we're kind of doing about a year and a half worth of work in about 6 weeks. So it's been out straight, but I definitely am probably not on some Christmas card lists on some folks across campus who are on the self-study.
Oh, it's
team.
Early in the year, Jim.
That's
They'll
right.
forget
Maybe
about
Independence
Day.
I'll
They'll
make sure to
forget
gear them
about
up in the fall. Maybe I'll get back on or something.
Hey,
But they're working hard.
What was that one thing that tipped it over into we're going for it?
So we had to there was kind of two questions for the broader group of schools, I would say, that were kind of primary front of mind questions. One of them related back to scholarship spend and whether or not you could include institutional grants and awards in your in your aggregate to get past the threshold. That was less of an issue for us. We were actually beyond that even with the athletic scholarship, but it was a really important question for a few schools. And then for us, we were trying to make sure that which years in the cohort and would there be any type of squad size adjustments because your cohort size is smaller on a 2-year evaluation than a 4-year evaluation, which is how they typically do the multi-year evaluation on APR. So we had to get some clarity there. They clarified it for us. That allowed us to affirm that we were in a good spot. And so through that, we were good.
All right.
Yeah.
Aren't you glad we have a rodeo team? That's got to help out. All that
rodeo doesn't get to count in that, actually.
It doesn't? No, it doesn't. Really? Why not?
Just the 14 on the athletic side.
Gosh.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I guess that'll be the next big fight, right?
But, we talk about, academic outcomes a lot here, and appropriately so. We had the foundation board meeting last week, and I went and met with them. And, I think they were surprised that the first thing I led with when we talked about an athletics update was R2, that designation for the institution, which is really important, and that's huge for athletics.
Yeah,
absolutely huge. It's huge for the entire university, right? But it's huge for athletics in terms of how we position the university, even in a recruiting conversation. But if you go and look at all the R1, R2 schools in the country, there's only about 325 roughly, I think is the number. A lot of them are Division I institutions, right? Not all of them, right? You got your MITs and your Johns Hopkins and your Caltechs out there, right? Yeah. But the vast majority are Division I institutions. And so, R1 and R2 and Division I go hand in hand. So so that was important to just from a university perspective. And we're contributing on the research side as well, in small ways, of course, but we're continuing to look to ways to expand that as well, particularly through the partnership with HHP and what we're doing over there through the Performance Lab. And so thankful to the provost and the team over there at HHP to help develop some partnership opportunities that help both sides, both from a research perspective and then from an applied perspective in the weight room. And then I led with talking about graduation outcomes. And one of the things that we just had the deadline to apply for spring graduation occur. And I asked Haley, who oversees our academic support unit, I said, "Hey, Haley, just curious, how many graduation applications for this spring did we have?" And, typically in the spring, our high mark is usually like in the 40s, like 40, 44, somewhere in there like that. And so we had 20 in the winter alone. She goes, 66. I was like, what? I was like, that's a crazy high number in a really good way. And again, we hope all 66 get it done, right? Some may not, but we'll know here, and obviously we'll promote that later when we get the opportunity to celebrate.
And
those
that's
graduates.
66 out of how many student athletes?
350.
Thank you.
Yeah. So it's kind of one of those things where you're sitting here like, okay, are we really going to have like 20% of our student athletes graduate this term? Like with and here's the thing that's crazy about it too: undergrad, grad, and a few actually student athletes that we've been targeting to come back to complete degree that left without finishing. So we had 5 of those alone last year, and honestly, we probably do need to do a better job of storytelling on that and sharing the impact of donor gifts to help that.
Ushan would be one of those, would he not?
I think Ushan's like getting to be a doctor. Like,
but a fast one.
But hey, he jumps really high.
A high jumping one.
And we're happy he's our doctor.
Man, no kidding.
So, we had 4 delayed grads last year, and then actually we had another student athlete come back that had left us 10 years ago and graduated last year. So
there's hope for me. Yeah,
hey, I'm telling you. So we're looking for him. We want to help him get to the finish line.
That's crazy. Yeah. You mentioned the word contributions earlier, and there's a chance for everybody to contribute.
Oh yeah, that's right. Big day coming up next week. So
and it's day. For the second time. This is the second year for this, but the Lion Athletics Giving Day is coming up.
That's right.
And last year, first time out of the box. First off, what is the time window on the? I mean, you can always give money, but for the particular program, how is it a week? Is it a month?
We position it as one day, so that's next Tuesday, March 4th. One day. But actually, we've been communicating on this already, and we actually already have over $10,000 contributed even before we get to the day, just from some of the informational and marketing.
The soft opening.
Soft launch.
Yeah,
that's right. A number of folks that have stepped up for matching gifts and challenge gifts, including some former student athletes, and that are trying to really spur new donors into the process and encourage those who have given to give again. And so we're excited about that. And if you go to the Giving Day website, you can actually see all this information on there. There's a banner at the top of our athletics website, right at the very top, where you can link right directly to it. Obviously we've been sending out emails, and there's some mailers that have gone out, and so you'll see a pretty heavy jump on the information coming through social and online and via email here, beginning kind of as we get into early next week.
Last year, y'all raised $100,000 in that one day.
In a day. Yeah.
And how many donors was that?
We had over 100 donors last year getting us there, and so we're gonna, like everything else, we're trying to raise the bar here as well. So this year we're going for $200,000, 200 donors, and we really. Again, we talk about where it takes everybody in this thing, and that's exactly it. We talk about the impact of the gift and where we're seeing outcomes, really positive outcomes. Of course, we talked about it in graduation.
Right.
We talked about the last time we talked about reclass, and what we've done in terms of growing the investment, both in terms of total spend and scholarship to get there. We would not be in the position today to be working on a 3-year process instead of 4 if we hadn't grown and the support and seen the response from our donors and our alums the way that we have over the last year and a half. And so really, I mean, when you want to see about making a difference, like that alone and the ability to satisfy those benchmarks would not be possible without the gifts that we've got from our alums. So we're very appreciative. Now the next phase of it is we're trying to translate that investment into some wins on the field as well.
So you could have a scroll over the top of the landing page for Lion Athletics, and it can be updating donors and how much. And then you can throw in bing, 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 here comes we got now we're at a match level.
That's
and
right.
Make it exciting.
Yeah. So the giving page will do that in real time. So
that's awesome.
If you link right to it. And you know what? I meant to bring it in the flesh. Well, it's not the flesh, but in the tangible, physical form is for the first 200 donors that make a $100 gift or more. We've got a Lucky the Lion bobblehead for them as a thank you gift. So
Dang.
I meant to bring it. A picture of it is on the web. I was going to put it right here for you, and we could have put it next to a bold gold or something.
Yeah,
like that.
I was going to say that would have been the
There
perfect.
you go, right? There it is. So
No,
I'm trying to have a little bit of fun with it too.
2 lions, 1 beer. 2 lions having a beer together.
Oh, there you go.
That's
I
it.
like that. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Or 2 lions.
Well, I was about to say, if we had 2 beers, there's 2 lions having a beer. Right?
Yeah.
That's right. So,
We'll have to do that.
yeah, so we're having some fun with it. Maybe trying to sweeten the pot a little bit too for some folks that get involved. But with that regard, but it's fun, and we've got our student athletes involved. We've got, and actually as part of that too, we've got a big internal staff giving campaign going on that we've already launched as well to help support that and continue just to demonstrate the broad-based support that we're getting across the board. So we're excited about it. Should be fun.
Outstanding. Well, I'm sorry that you had so much homework to do that you couldn't come down to New Orleans and at least, split a dozen with me.
Oh, I know.
But there'll be another day.
Hey, we picked up a nice win down there on the men's side.
It was exciting.
Yeah.
And it was totally unexpected when it happened, too.
Hey.
I mean, it was just like, sadly, it was just like, oh, gosh, here we go again. But no.
Yep.
The poke steel, the drive, and
gritty.
the tomahawk, it was awesome.
Give it to the guys. It's not been the season they wanted, obviously, or anybody's wanted, but they've continued to fight and play hard, and they earned that one, and they put it all out there, so we appreciate it. So, but we talked about also what's coming. One thing I think is probably important to note and maybe touch on before we wrap here, but as we get into Giving Day. One of the things that we're going to do this week is, unless something unexpected happens here in the next, I would say 48 hours before the deadline hits, but we fully intend to opt into the new kind of in-state processes as it pertains to increased benefits for student athletes beginning next year. And not every school in the Southland is going to do that. But we think it's really important for us as both really a statement to our student athletes that we're committed to enhancing benefits for them, and really just a commitment as a university as a whole to position ourselves to compete at the highest levels of Division I athletics. And so an important move for us. It kind of gets back into that roster caps and rev share and NIL benefit and academic benefits and things like that. But we intend to opt into that, and so that deadline is due March 1st, and it's been an active space. Obviously, I think anybody that follows this stuff sees all the litigation and all the objections and what have you in this regard. But we were on a call with In-State Legal this morning. They provided good insights for us to inform some of the decision making as we move ahead. But we've been really committed to that effort and that decision for quite some time now. And again, for the reasons that we talked about. And so excited about what gifts to Giving Day and beyond that can do to help support student athletes further, but also help promote and support positive outcomes both in the classroom and on the playing surface. So another big, I would say, thing on that's coming on the docket here this week that has a huge impact moving forward for Lion athletics.
Hey, don't sleep on these Lions. They're busy.
Don't sleep on them.
Don't sleep on them. They're looking forward to when they can take a nap themselves. Right. But this process is as exciting as it can be. Last thing?
All gas, no brakes, man.
That's right.
All gas,
it
no
is,
brakes.
definally.
Looking forward to track championships next week. Oh, dirt. Yeah.
Have you got a date on that yet?
So we will be moving dirt next month. I guess next month is tomorrow, right? Or is that?
It's not far off.
Saturday, whenever it is. Yeah, today's.
Nobody works on a Saturday.
I'm losing track of my days here. March. We'll be moving some dirt in March. There'll be some information going out here soon. But there is we've got some tentative dates set for that we're settling in on for a groundbreaking ceremony that will occur in March for the arena. So more to come on that. We'll save that for maybe the next episode of Inside Line Athletics. But also looking forward to going track and field this weekend. So I'll fly out to Birmingham on Sunday to join our track and field team, and excited about what could happen for them out there. They've had a great regular season, so I hope it all kind of comes together for them. I know George will have them ready to go, but we'll see. We're going to be in the hunt, that's for sure. And who knows? Maybe we'll make a little history while we're out there.
All right, and hey, March 4th. That's next Tuesday.
March 4th, Tuesday.
Tuesday, $100, and you got a Lion bobblehead, but you got to be fast. Be sure and join us for that. Y'all can claim your first conference championship in the Southland Conference this weekend. Is that right? As a team and a
that's what we hope. That's what we hope. Yeah.
Do you have a feeling about
I,
it? I mean, y'all have seen y'all have been able to do the comparisons.
I try not to have feelings about it,
Okay.
but I think you certainly have feelings of excitement. You also have kind of the knowledge and the wisdom to know that anything can happen at a conference championship. And I think the meet will come down to just about like any other sport, 3 or 4 kind of crucial points throughout the track meet that are going to allow one team to rise above another. So, on paper, I like where we're at on paper. I'll be much happier after the meet if we're still there. So you just try to
Well,
keep
tell me
everyone level
this.
headed and prepared.
Are you happy that it's in Birmingham versus some of the indoor facilities a little bit closer to home?
I'm happy we're having an indoor championship.
Okay.
Just about every conference in the nation is having their conference championship this week or at some part of this week. Birmingham's a long trip. It's a great facility. It's hosted SEC championships. It's hosted a national championship. But the logistics are tough. It's a long weekend for us.
Yeah, and with all the other facilities, I mean, a conference championship, that's a lot of bodies, and it takes time to run through everything. It's not like they can especially have multiple championships ongoing at the same time.
Yeah, so I know the Crossplex is pretty much booked out Sunday last week all the way through Monday this week. Conference championship 1 day, 2 day, start another conference championship day 1, day 2, and just repeat through about the whole week.
Hey, I hear you got a high jumper back in the fold. He won't be available for this year's championships, though, will he? Or will he?
He's jumping this week. He opened up the season last week at Arkansas. Ushan's ready and healthy.
Oh, that's
and just,
awesome.
We're happy to have him back. Like, a guy like that's performed at the level he's performed at. Not many people can say I've won 4 national titles and 4 national championships. He's a perfect 4-0 there. So to have him on the squad and to be back at this time of year is really a good thing, right? A lot of the younger people kind of look up to him. They've heard the legend of Ushan, and now they get to see that he's just as real as them, and he trains the same way they do. So, really good feelings about having him back.
All right, men's, women's side. Do you have any feeling about where our strongest events are for medals?
Yeah, again, I think you have to look at Ibrahim Foussini, just the season he's put together.
Yeah,
this winter. It's hard to go against a guy that's qualified for a world championship. It's hard to go against a guy that's top 5 in the world. But I know he's approached his preparation in a way that he just wants to be the top at the Southland Conference Championship. That's all we've focused on, is just being the best for right now. We'll worry about all the other stuff after.
How long of a break, if you will, is there between the end of the indoor season and the first outdoor meets? How soon will y'all make the flip?
Yeah, we'll get an early season outdoor meet March 20th. So roughly 2.5, 3 weeks till we kind of flip to outdoor.
Okay. Any difference in the equipment that they use? I mean, like they put in different spikes these days, indoor versus outdoor. I'm asking that out of pure ignorance.
All the same, all the same, just a few extra events. Outdoors we'll add the javelin. We'll take out the weight throw and replace it with the hammer throw. We add the discus in. And again, that's just not many places you can throw a javelin 60, 70, 80 meters inside.
I know.
That's really about the space.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Okay, so how many Lions do you have going with you to Alabama?
Yeah, so we're traveling about 58 athletes this week. So
all right,
some support staff along the way.
Well, we wish you all the very best and safest travels, and can't wait to see how the Lions do out there and then get them home.
All right. Thank you, Charlie.
All right, Coach. Thanks a lot. Lines up, folks. And we'll see you
care.
next time. Take care. Folks, I'm Charlie Chitwood. Lions up. Thanks for joining us for another episode of Inside Lion Athletics. We'll do it again next week.